Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Saturday, August 25th, 2018. Want to review some headlines from today, yesterday, and Thursday that I haven't had a chance to put out in video content yet. So let's start with the update on Hawaii. If you missed my prior work on Hurricane Lane and what it had to do with impacting Hawaii and the time it is, please check that out. This morning, CNN put out this story. Hawaii dodged a bullet as Lane weakens to tropical storm. And this article acknowledges that the hurricane and tropical storm has done a lot of damage from flooding to brush fire, but it could have been worse. Notice this headline, how it emphasizes the phrase dodged a bullet. In Gematria, that phrase sums to 239, which is the 52nd prime number. Recall last year, August 27th, 2017, the 239th day of the year, and a date with 52 numerology, 8 plus 27 plus 17, Houston flooded by the numbers, and that greater region in Texas. A lot of devastation there. Since 1952, emphasis on 52, world militaries have admitted that they know how to create flash flooding through technology, through putting chemicals in the sky and other tactics. And 1952 was 66 years ago. So just imagine how much time they've had to improve on the art of weather warfare, which is a very real thing. It's these same numbers again and again. In my book, Letters and Numbers, there's a chapter on weather warfare, and this same pattern has persisted throughout history. The media mocks here, showing you a picture of flooding with this emphasized phrase, dodged a bullet. Continuing with this article, if you read it, it talks about how Lane has dumped 40 inches of rain on Hawaii so far, and more is going to come. Last year, there was an article just like this with a headline just like this in Houston about how it had dumped 52 inches of rain on Houston in a short period of time. With regards to 40, recall that in Gematria, Houston equals 40, just like Old Testament equals 40. I forgot to put the most important thing up there, so we'll just put it up. The flood equals 40. And think about the Bible, the Old Testament, the story of the flood, 40 days and 40 nights. This code of letters and numbers is a biblical code. The flood, 40. 40 inches of rain in the mentioned article. Again, the story comes from the Old Testament. It comes from the Torah, both of which have Gematria 40. The Torah is also known as the Book of the Law, which has the Gematria of 239. The 52nd prime. Learn the code, see through how the media mocks, and see through what's really going on in this world. If you missed the prior video on Hurricane Lane, you got to check that out because there's a whole lot more important information. This is just the update. Also, yesterday, Friday, August 24th, which was the day that we said lined up ever so perfectly the day for Hurricane Lane, the day that the majority of rainfall came, they said a brush fire broke out on Maui and they don't know how. But they said the winds from the hurricane were spreading the fire rapidly. And just notice hurricane and brush fire in the 4-base ciphers. Hurricane and brush fire, perfect overlap with the reduction method, and perfect overlap with the reverse reduction method. And if you've never seen that movie, The Hurricane, it's 146 minutes long and not arbitrarily. Also, today in the headlines, August 25th, 2018, top story this morning, ex-Trump World Tower doorman's catch and kill contract released. And understand, just every day with Donald Trump, it's news by the numbers. August 25th, 2018, date with a life lesson number of 44, catch and kill. What's emphasized in the headline, make it bigger in case you can't see it, catch and kill, the emphasis, 44. Remember, Trump's number 45, but he's only the 44th person to be president of the United States because Grover Cleveland had a split term messing up the account. Cleveland was number 22 and number 24. The 25th president was the 24th person, all the way up to Trump. The attorney who puts out the information in this story, his name's Mark Held, also 44 in the base ciphers. Catch and kill, I don't know what it makes you think of, but I find it interesting that this was the Trump World Tower doorman, because Trump World Tower has gematria of 79 and 83, like the word murder. Catch and kill. Fateful patterns in history. JFK, the 44th term president. The doorman's name, Dino Sajudin, in the dark blue cipher, the most important of the 4 base ciphers, gematria 48, like Donald Trump. A lot of numbers that have to do with New York City. Mark Held, the attorney's name, has gematria of 64 and 44, like the word kill. Anyway, the main thing is catch and kill. That's the catchphrase. News by the numbers. Every single day you can use this code and see why what's in the headlines is in the headlines. It's clockwork. It's this way every single time. There's no exceptions. All news contrived this way. The day prior, Friday, August 24th, 2018, which was a date with a life lesson number of 43. One day earlier, one less numerology point. Date with 43. What was in the headlines? Donald Trump calls off the nuclear meeting with North Korea. Nuclear has the gematria 43. So does Civil War. So does South Korea. Also, top Trump organization official Weaselberg was granted immunity in Cohen investigation. This is from the same day, the date with the life lesson number of 43. Immunity 43. News by the numbers. Also on that date, the story about John McCain ending his brain cancer treatment. And I'm a little bit miffed, actually, why they released this news story on Friday instead of today. Today has been a major story. They're covering even more in today's news than they did yesterday, but this news actually broke yesterday, Friday. The reason it would have made more sense to break today is because today has the life lesson number of 44, and both brain and cancer equal 44. But I'm imagining we're going to read about John McCain's death in the not so far future, and it's going to be interesting to see how that date lines up with the date that they announced this news. And that's probably the ritual that's coming. Also, this thing about brain cancer reminds me of how a few years ago there was the national news story about Jimmy Carter having 4 spots of brain cancer. And then if I'm not mistaken, it was 44 days later that it was cured. Remember, he was the president from Georgia, one of 2 states, having the gematria 44. Also, I should note that brain cancer, 44 plus 44 is 88. That was a big number with the Republican Party this week. The Republican Party, 88. Trump, 88. Michael Cohen pleads guilty on 8 counts. Paul Manafort, guilty on 8 counts. That happened on August 21st, the date when written out that sums to 88. I don't think it's any coincidence. I think it's all part of interconnected ritual. Also, with regards to brain and cancer having the gematria of 44, John McCain, the senator from Arizona, the divisors of 44 sum to 84, Arizona 84. The name McCain also does sum to 43. The news about John McCain came on a date with a life lesson number of 43. That probably is why it came on the date with 43 numerology. It is about McCain. But just with it being brain and cancer, the 44, I guess, would have made sense too. And again, it is pretty much the main thing they're talking about on the TV today. So, broke yesterday, the 43 date, big talking point today. News by the numbers, as is always the case. The day prior, Thursday, headline, Donald Trump blasted for supporting white national conspiracy theory about killing of South African white farmers. And here we go, news by the numbers again. If you read the story, they say it's pointless that Trump's bringing this up because this phenomenon is way down in recent years. But what's funny is the stat that they say is from 2016 and 2017. It was down to the killing of 74 farmers per year. And the word killing in Gematria, which is the alphabetic order, K's 11, I's 9, L's 12, so on, killing is 74. What are the odds that that's the stat? Gematria is 74, English is 74, Masonic is 74, Jewish is 74. It's called a Gematria, a Masonic code, a Jewish code. As for why the news came the day it did, August 23rd, 18 was a date with 49 numerology. South Africa, 49. News by the numbers. And the other night when I turned on the TV, I was making dinner and I had the TV going, and I could not stop laughing because Anderson Cooper was talking about this David Pecker guy, and it seemed like Anderson Cooper just wanted to say his name as much as possible. It was like every fourth or fifth word was David Pecker, David Pecker, David Pecker. And I thought, my goodness, I mean, is the point of this story just to say Pecker as much as possible? And further, the name Pecker has Gematria 58. Remember, that's the big number with the Trump administration. This story is about David Pecker, chief of National Enquirer's publisher, is said to get immunity in, this ongoing Trump investigation. We talked about how the immunity connected to the 43 in the date. But Pecker, 58. Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. Again, he announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower. He hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. Now Pecker, of the National Enquirer, tabloid news, the reality TV president, all mocking an ongoing comedy, David Pecker. Also in the headlines, Thursday, August 23rd, Mollie Tibbets' autopsy finds that she died by multiple sharp force injuries. I mean, what a force statement. And just look at how it's emphasized. Multiple sharp force injuries. Well, here's why they contrived it that way. 322. 322. The number of Yale skull and bones. Yale and Gematria sums to 43 with the alphabetic order. This news story came on a date with 43 numerology. Remember, George Herbert Walker Bush of Yale Skull and Bones was the 43rd vice president. His son of Yale Skull and Bones was the 43rd president. George H.W.'s son, the governor, Jeb, in Florida, when Bush got elected and it came down to Florida, was the 43rd governor of Florida. So you get this story on a date with 43 numerology. You get the 322 tribute to Yale Skull and Bones. And further, they put out his name, Christian Bahina Rivera. And I did a video on the Mollie Tibbets body being found and how it was found 137 days from her birthday. Her birthday is stated as being April 6th. Her body was recovered August 21st, 137 days later. 137 is the 33rd prime. Mollie, with this bizarre spelling with the word lie right in it, equals 33. Her initials MT for Mollie Tibbets, 33. Again, 137, the 33rd prime. Then the killer's name comes out, and his name in the base cipher sums to 137. Now, what somebody else pointed out to me, and is true, is there's two different birthdays being used in media headlines for Mollie Tibbets. One is April 6th, the 96th day of the year, where Mollie, with the way it's spelled, equals 96. So does Freemason. There's another birthday out there that's May 8th. So she also has another birthday, May 8th, and it makes me wonder which one it is. But here's what's a trip. From May 8th to the day her body was recovered is a span of 106 days. And look at the killer's name in the four base ciphers, 137 and 106. And here's where these two numbers come together. Through the word authority, which in the base cipher sums to 137 and 106. Notice also 47. Her body was recovered 8/21/18, a date with 47 numerology. Again, government 47, big number with Freemasonry, which has 47 degrees on the compass that abides by this code. What are the odds? So it doesn't seem like it's any accident that she has these two birthdays floating in the media in light of the way they line up with this story. Seems like it's just a greater tribute to the riddle. And it reminds me of that Wall Street Journal article from earlier this year where the Wall Street Journal called for YouTube to ban all content except for from the authority. Don't you wish it would be that way? The Wall Street Journal should rename itself George Orwell's 1984. And don't forget why it's called 1984. Masonry 84, Zionism 84, Jesuit 84, the Masonic, Zionist, or Masonic secret alliances that govern over this nation. So that's the weekend update. I know there's some other stories floating around, but those are the big ones, and we'll leave it there from now, True Seeker. In the description of the video, all these blog posts you can find below if you want to read over them, if you want to share them with somebody. Anytime I make a video, I always link the blog post in the description in case you want to go over the content. Until next time.